Hi guys, so today I'm gonna talk about some news from late April to early May. This is gonna be related to North Carolina, Colorado, Alaska, regarding election in North Carolina, and immigration relating to Trump in Colorado, Alaska situation with Trump again, DI regarding some companies who are still using it, and the housing market at the moment. So the first thing first, this is for May 5th, 2025, so last month. Federal judge orders North Carolina to certify Riggs as winning Supreme Court election. She was already someone that a lot of Democrats recommended, and the Republican candidate tried multiple times to cheat his way in winning. And even though he fairly lost, it was a fair election. There was no voter fraud, nothing. But the Republicans were trying to suppress the votes. But she's been certified. Hopefully that continues. We'll see if the. I think Trump might be trying to do something to get her off the position. You know that'd be illegal, but he's been going against the Constitution since January. So let's see what that's gonna happen. But that's basically update for this. She won by 734 votes. Of course, they're going to try to do as much as they can to contest over 65 ballots, but as far as we know for now, at least, she's been certified. So it's going to be a lot harder now to get rid of her. This is an archive article, archive page, because the original one had a lot of ads, so I was able to find this one, but it's from newsobserver.com. Next article I want to talk about real quick is about Colorado House passes immigration protection bill amid new Trump lawsuit against the state. So it's a Senate bill. That's a state Senate bill 276 is one step away from Governor Jeb Polis' acts for passage into law. It may already have passed. I can give an update later about that. But it is something that many states have been trying to deal with because of Trump going really hardcore after undocumented immigrants without due process. So this was from May 3rd, 2025, the Denver Post. And we already know that Trump's been going in specific areas trying to send ICE to a lot as he knows that a lot or assumes that there are a lot of undocumented immigrants or in general Hispanic populations. He assumes if you're Hispanic or a person of color, you're probably undocumented. That's his mentality, which is very dangerous because then American citizens can be impacted by it. But this is a bill they've been working on to try to pass to protect immigrants because we know that even legal immigrants are not protected anymore, unfortunately. And Trump's been trying to make those illegal immigrants undocumented by removing protection they used to have. Venezuelans and Cubans are being a prime target by Trump administration, even though they've been here legally. He's removing those legal protections, so now they become documented and creates this whole mess of oh now we have 100K people to deport, even though those people were literally illegally. He just made them not be legal by removing the protection. It's really stupid. But that's basically the article. Next one is about 10 ways Trump has changed Alaska in 100 days. This one May 2nd, 2025. So now, obviously, being over 100 days, but there's something to talk about. One, millions in lost federal dollars. Yeah, Trump has been trying to get rid of a lot of funding for a lot of states, even red states like Alaska that normally vote for Trump. Those states are still being impacted by Trump a lot, including North Carolina. But blue states seem to be maybe impacted a bit more. And that's a problem. Removing a lot of this federal funding, it causes cuts in public safety. A lot of the states, especially red states, don't have any way to fund the programs for safety, public safety, community programs, safety net uh, programs they have without federal funding. So you remove that, the whole infrastructure and programs can go away. A lot of scientific research they're doing in Alaska won't be continued without the funding from the federal government. They don't have enough funding from the state, so it's a big issue. Hundreds of federal hundreds of federal jobs eliminated because so many federal jobs have been eliminated. A lot of people who live in Alaska and working there as a federal government employee now don't have jobs. Now they have to compete with local and state residents to get local state jobs. That's going to cause a lot of issues. The federal government has been Alaska's number one industry with 15,000 employees. Just the pushing paid in wages to Alaska's federal employees adds up to $1.4 billion a year. That's a good thing, right? But now, because of what Trump's been doing, a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of scientists are losing their jobs also. There's a lot of scientific research being done in Alaska, especially to preserve species. The existence of many species like polar bears. A lot of the species that rely on certain conditions of the habitats to be really cold, to have ice caps and all that. You need research to find out how you can help them. So getting rid of the funding, you fire those federal workers. it becomes a big issue. Oil path feels a regulatory weight lifted. President Trump's energy mantra has been drill, baby, drill. Really bad. And he signed an executive order on day one called unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resources potential. Problem with doing this also means that you have less regulation and more species can die from this and can also cause more pollution, which will also impact the residents of Alaska. It's not really a good thing. Renewal interest, which is number four, in the Alaska's gas line project. So again, it's all about going back to oil and gas type industry, but really hardcore with no regulation. That's not going to be good for the people who live in Alaska either. Pollution will increase. Number five, a new name for the nation's highest peak. Trump announced on his first day back in office that he wanted to change the name of the Alaska Bee Mountain from Denali to Mount McKinley. 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 So I think Denali, I think it's a indigenous American name, which is really dumb for what Trump is doing. That's really wrong. Uh, yeah, indigenous coach. So I was right with the indigenous name. What president had nothing to do with Alaska. Imagine changing the name from an indigenous individual, indigenous tribe who actually lived in Alaska for centuries to some president who never lived there. Doesn't make sense. So we will see how that goes. The price of oil, number six, the price of oil is down and could fall further. Sure, that can be a good thing, but that it doesn't matter if you increase pollution and there's no regulation. Number seven, large state budget deficit. This might be going on for a while, but with the whole budget cuts from the federal government, it's going to be a big issue for Alaska. Number eight, the value of the permanent fund has declined, which is not a good thing. This will impact a lot of residents. It's not going to be good for them. And Alaska already doesn't have a lot of high paying people. Number nine, new tariffs weigh on Alaska's businesses and industry. So the tariffs have been causing a lot of the operation costs of businesses in Alaska to increase to the point that a lot of them may have to close down their businesses as they might lose customers. They themselves may have a hard time affording to increase the prices so they can afford the tariffs. Then damage to Alaska's relationship with Canada. Yep, because of that whole tariffs situation, constantly Trump calling Canada the 51st state, which is incredibly wrong and just disrespectful to Canadians. That's caused a lot of the Canadians to have really a hard time working with states they know mainly voted for Trump back in 2024 election. So I get it. That's a fall of Alaskans, the Republicans who chose Trump, but that's the consequences of when you vote like it's a sports game instead of voting to protect people's rights and the uh, financial situation. Trump does not help the poor working class, middle class people, so you're only making that to pay more out of pocket. Now, this is more of a good news. For May 2nd, 2025, DEI is winning with Costco, Apple, and Levi's shareholders. So DEI has been really good for a lot of companies. It was actually really good for Target. So when Target got rid of DEI, it caused them to lose tons of business to the point they're losing, they have to close down stores. It's been going on, I think, for almost 4 months straight of people not going to Target. I haven't gone to Target in a while either. That's before this happened. I rarely go to Target anyway. But now it's really being affecting them. And all they had to do is just not get rid of DI, enhance it, do more DI initiatives. They did the opposite. Costco didn't do that. They kept going with DI. It's been working well for them. Apple, same thing, which has been working well for them. Levi, which I didn't know about Levi, so that's a good thing. That's basically a company that sells clothes, but people don't know. So yeah, DI proposed DI initiatives is actually a good thing. It makes your company feel more inclusive of others, and creates more diversity of not just a workplace environment with more employees with different backgrounds, but also customers feel comfortable going in and seeing people who looked at them, who come from similar backgrounds, who understand them, will be more uh, tolerant and patient with differences between each other, whether that's race, accents, immigration status, culture, etc. So yeah, that's why when you go against the eye, it could really impact it. It makes you not want support your company when you don't support them as an individual, as a unique individual. So, but that's a good thing for them. Last thing we'll talk about is from April 27, 2025, from Fortune website. A starter home now costs $1 million in half the states in the U.S. So imagine going to a state and many starter homes, you know, 2 to 3 bedrooms, one car garage with a driveway, maybe an attic or not, possibly a basement or not, small backyard, small front yard. That used to be 200 to 300K. Nowadays, a lot of it, even in red states, a lot of them are becoming 400, 500, 600K. In blue states, a lot of them are 700, 100,000 to $1 million plus for starter homes. Like it's, I live in a very high cost of living state, and yeah, I have a hard time buying a home. Even though together with my wife, we make pretty decent salary. Together, we're making six figures. Individually, we don't, but together we do, and we're still struggling to afford the home. We're still living in a one-bedroom apartment. So imagine people who are millennials, especially Gen Zers and alphas, are gonna really struggle to get home. So buying a starter home at first as a first-time home buyer is supposed to be exciting, and it's not. In pretty much half of the states that you live in, they don't have anything. So 25 states are hard to get home. Even and like I said, even in red states, people are struggling because a lot of the minimum wage, instead of the federal minimum wage, was slightly above $7.25 an hour. That's not enough to get by. Yeah, people can argue, oh, nobody makes $7.25 an hour. But a lot of people only making 10, $12 an hour, maybe 15. In 2025, $15 an hour is nothing. Even with the cost of living being low in a red state like Mississippi, you need more like 20, $25 an hour to really be able to comfortably afford a home. And a lot of starter homes are impossible to afford. New York, New Jersey, Florida, Massachusetts, Washington, and Texas, they have multi-million dollar homes. It's really expensive. Texas used to be easier to get home, even if you didn't have, one of those white collar jobs or a really high end uh, blue collar job where you're very skilled uh, laborer, like a very skilled carpenter or electrician. You could be more of a heavy laborer, not be so skillful, but still be able to afford home in Texas. In Florida now is very hard, even in those states. Obviously we know the East Coast, West Coast can be very expensive, like Cali in the West Coast, Florida in the East Coast, along with New Jersey, New York. But even Texas, even a lot of southern states, it's a struggle to get home. The House Affordability Index uh, basically reported was 72.8 in the last quarter of 2024, which means household earns income of medium income of about $80,000 only has 73% of the money it would need to afford a medium period home, a medium price home. That's not good. That means that we really have to be making 100K a year, if not more, individually, bare minimum, just afford a house properly in half the states, and in that way, it's not easy. And thing is, a lot of the houses are not going down in prices, and corporations and rich people buying them off like crazy to basically uh, just to rent them out. It's a huge issue, and it's not just in the blue states anymore. And of course, if your salary kept up with inflation, we'll be fine, right? Many of us will be making 90 to 100K a year by now, easily, which will be instead we're still stuck at 50, 60, 70K in very high cost of living states. People who are in red states are still stuck in the 30, 40, maybe 50K, even though they should be making more like 80K, 90K. We in the very high cost of living states should be making more like 120, 130K a year because it's very hard. Even 100K in a very high cost of living state, you cannot afford a home in the best location of the state. You have to go really further away from everything, in the middle of nowhere, to be able to afford something. And then you have everything is far away from you. Where you have to drive 2 plus hours to get something. That's a problem. Imagine you need to go to a hospital, it takes an hour to get there. That's not fair. So yeah, that's more of a bad news there, unfortunately. We will see what will happen. Um, I am hoping that things will get better, but I don't see it happening unless we publicize single family homes so that people can actually be able to afford one, own one, and not have to lose all the money they have saved. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about everything discussed today. The housing market in particular is interesting. If you agree with DI, with Costco, Apple, and Levi, how it's doing. If you still disagree with DI, they think it's just bogus. I don't. I've been working at, a lot of people in the DI fields. I've done stuff with DI in the past, and I still agree with to this day the parental research that shows its benefits. I talked about already before the benefits of DI, but up to if you agree with it. If you agree with Trump, the way he's impacting Alaska, mainly in a negative way with his executive orders and policies. Colorado, if you agree with the immigration law they passed, and North Carolina, if you happy the federal judge, the federal judge of North Carolina certified Riggs. as they should have. There should be no issue with that. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. If you watch this in TikTok, follow us on TikTok. And if you want to support me, I have Patreon, and you can just it's $1 tier at most just to support me. And I hope everyone has a great and safe day.